have an ultrasound in about a week and a half. I'm hoping that in this ultrasound, they will tell me that the hematoma is gone. The first time I felt the baby move was 12 weeks. I haven't been feeling many kicks in the last few weeks. Oh my goodness. Hello, you guys. It has been quite the day. I have a headache. I wrote down like a list of like talking points, deleted it. So I had to like try to remember what they were, and my brain was just not working, so I think I'm leaving a couple of things out, but in the next update you'll get probably what I forgot. So, you know, it is what it is. For those of you who have never been here before, my name is Tasha and I'm a gestational surrogate. I am currently 18 weeks pregnant with a baby that's not even mine. It's pretty much what that means. If you have questions and you're curious, you can leave them in the comments, or you can watch some of my previous videos where I talk a lot about surrogacy in the process. Anyway, let's get into this week's update. 18 weeks, baby is the size of a bell pepper, which is about 8 3/4 inch from head to foot. I forgot my measuring tape. I'm like trying to eye it and I don't feel like it's that big yet. But anyway, baby weighs just under 8 ounces, which is still a little bitty baby. I have an ultrasound in about a week and a half. It's the anatomy scan, 20-week big thing. They check everything. They check internal organs to make sure they're all there. They check the spinal cord, the bones. They count fingers and toes and vertebrae, like so many things. They check everything. It's a very lengthy ultrasound, which is a lot of fun because you get to see the baby for a long time and see it move around and wiggle and stuff. I'm hoping that in this ultrasound they will tell me that the hematoma is gone. The doctor said they'll measure it if it's still there, but I'm hoping that it's completely healed by now. I still have cramping every once in a while, but I haven't had spotting for like 2 or 3 weeks now, I think, which is good. So it's, you know, headed in the right direction, but still I would like it to be gone completely so I can return to my normal activities. I have not worked out for like ever. Surprisingly, I haven't gained that much weight though, because I weigh myself on the scale that I have here at home every week, and I think I've only gained, like, since starting the medications, I think I've only gained like 8 pounds maybe, which when I did surrogacy the first time, I gained 10 pounds before I was even pregnant. So the fact that I've only gained 8 pounds and I'm 18 weeks and almost halfway done, like, I know you gain most of it towards the end, but still, like, for IVF, that's pretty good in my opinion. It's weird because the first time I felt the baby move was 12 weeks, which is insane. Like, that is not normal for anyone who, you know, is pregnant now and hasn't gotten to 18 weeks yet, or they've had kids in the past. Like, 12 weeks is insanity to be feeling baby moving around. That's so super early. With my son, it was like 18 weeks, I think, and even then it was like very light, and I was like, wait, was that it? So the fact that I felt this kid at 12 weeks is just unbelievable. I haven't been feeling many kicks in the last few weeks. Maybe 1 or 2 a week. Most of the time it's like a rolling sensation. I'm guessing where the baby's like moving from one side to another or like turning around. It's really hard to explain, but that's kind of what it feels like. It's more shifting than they are kicks, which I have felt a few actual kicks. Not as many as I can't say that. I was gonna say not as many as I remember having, but that's not true, because like when you first start feeling them, it's maybe once or twice a week, and then like later on, then you feel it every day, multiple times a day. But for now, it's mostly like a shifty, rolling movement. I don't know if that makes any sense, but in my brain, like that's what it feels like. It's interesting because I think I mentioned this before. When I lay down on my stomach, not my stomach, when I lay on my back, wow, haven't laid on my stomach in like a hot minute. When I lay on my back, sometimes the baby's like all on the right side. It like sticks up higher on the right side, and it's hard when I push on it. It's like hard right there, and I can feel like the back, I guess. It's really interesting. I don't remember ever carrying a baby that preferred one side over the other. Usually they laid like this way, I think, until they got bigger, obviously. This one definitely prefers the right side. So usually we get snow in February, but this is like the end of February. It's almost March. It's almost spring, and we have had, let me think. It started Wednesday night. It snowed really bad Wednesday. It snowed, I think, a little bit more on Thursday. I don't know. School's been out for like multiple days in a row. It kind of sucks because I live in Sandy, right? Look it up on a map if you want to know where it is. I work in Gresham, and they're 2 different counties. Clackamas County is like Sandy towards the mountain that way. Multnomah County is like Portland area. Clackamas County is on the roads when there's snow and ice. If it is in the forecast that we might get snow and ice, they are de-icing the roads. They're like spraying de-icer on the roads. If it snows, they are out there plowing in the mornings to make sure that it's clear. Great. They are so on top of it. Multnomah County does absolutely nothing until like 3 days later. So with all the snow and ice, we have the gorge, which is basically like a tunnel for wind. So it blows down the Columbia River, which is the north border of Oregon, right? So it blows cold air. So occasionally, Gresham, Portland, the metro areas get more snow than we do at 1,000+ feet in Sandy. It makes no sense because we're much higher elevation. But sometimes they get more snow because of the gorge wind, and it's really freaking cold and yada, yada, yada. So last week we had snow, and the snow here is interesting because it'll snow, people will drive on it, it packs it down, the sun warms it up, turns it into ice. So the next day after it has snowed, Gresham is an ice rink. I drove to work on Friday. I stayed home Thursday because there was so much snow. Like, freaking Portland shut down. It was insane. Like, highways were closed, freeways were closed, cars abandoned on the side of the freeway. Like, it was a mess. I didn't go into work Thursday because I would not have been able to make it down my driveway, because my driveway is like this, and there's a street right here and a fire hydrant on the end. Like, I don't want to slide down the driveway and hit the fire hydrant. It's a whole thing. Anyway, I got down the driveway on Friday, drove into work. I'm like cruising down Highway 26 because it's been plowed. They de-iced it. The highway is completely clear of ice and snow. Like there's nothing on it. You could drive 100 miles an hour and you wouldn't slip on anything because there wasn't anything on the road, because Clackamas County is on their roads so well. I get to Gresham. There is a solid 2 inches of ice on the streets in Gresham. 2 inches. And it's funny because when you get to a certain area, driving to Gresham, the roads are clear, and then all of a sudden they're not clear anymore and there's ice like everywhere. It's comical, but like super stupid at the same time. And I know what people are thinking from like the north, and oh my word, you only got like 10 inches of snow. No, you don't understand. We have hills and the snow turns into ice and it is just a mess. It's just a mess. People drive so stupidly. They got the big truck, big beefy trucks, like, oh yeah, I got big huge tires and grip and like I was driving home. Was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. I was driving home. There were cars in the ditches. There was one car that the passenger wheel was, okay, the car's going this way, right? The passenger wheel was like this in the front. So clearly they hit something. There was one truck that pulled out of a street, turned left, spun all the way around, and then went up the hill past me. Like, guys, you know it's slippery. Don't be stupid and try to drive 45 like you normally do. Here I am driving like 20 and giving myself like 8 car lengths in front of me to stop just in case, because, you know, pregnant, so I don't want to get in a car accident. But dang, like, do you people not care about your cars? It's so expensive to get them repaired. The people that are driving all stupid clearly have more money than I do because they can just pay to fix their car. Like, at one point I had to fix like my front bumper and like a side mirror or something. It was like $2,000. Like, who can afford that? And you see some of these cars, they have like missing front fenders, and I don't understand. Like, if you don't know how to drive in the snow and ice, please stay home. Do not even attempt to drive 45 on 2 inches of solid ice. It's not gonna end well. Anyway, enough of my rant. I made it to work just fine. I drove super slow and it took me probably 45 minutes to get to work from the edge of Gresham. That's how slow I was going. Normally I can get to work within like 35 minutes from my house. Yeah, it took me like an hour, and about 45 minutes of that hour was driving through Gresham because of all the ice. On Friday, left work, slowly drove towards my house. Decided to stop at the store and pick up a few things because I needed a few groceries for over the weekend. And as I'm walking through the store, I get an email on my work email that I have an appeal that I have to go and deal with. Now, appeals are time sensitive, which means they have to be done either the same day or the next day, depending on what time I get it. And because I got it after 5 o'clock, technically it would have been due the next day, which would have been Saturday, which means I would have had to drive all the way from my house to work on a Saturday to take care of this appeal. No, thank you. I was already halfway there, so I just turned around and drove through the ice and snow, mostly ice, back to work. It was very annoying, but I also didn't want to drive all the way back to work on the weekend when I was already halfway there. So put my groceries in my car, went back to worked for like 20 minutes, took care of the appeal, and then drove home in the dark, which was a little sketch, but I made it okay. It was fine. I freaking love having all-wheel drive and studded tires. I have made it up my steep driveway every single time I've come home, even though it's covered with ice and snow. I still am able to make it up without too much of an issue. Tonight when I came up, it's all like slushy and ice-ish. And so I came up and I have to like turn, like a 90-degree angle turn to the right to get to my apartment. And it's still like on the hill, so you have to like turn going up the hill. And I could feel the tires slightly like drifting as I was coming up the driveway. But it was fine, it wasn't that bad. So much fun. I don't know what's gonna happen because we're supposed to get more snow over the weekend and next week. So pretty sure there's gonna be no school for like 2 weeks at this point. It's funny because I got an email from the school last night that was like, inclement weather, like we realize there hasn't been school, and you know, kids are supposed to have a certain number of hours every year for school, but don't worry, like this was built into the calendar, and like we're not thinking of adding more days to the end of the school year. I was like, okay. Like this is a lot of days to be taking off for snow, but I mean, if you guys have pre-planned all this time off, good for you, because oh my. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. Thank you so much for watching them. I know some of you have been sticking with me since the beginning, and I appreciate you. If you want more content, you can follow me on these social medias. And do not forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with my upcoming content and more pregnancy stuff and surrogacy and life in general, just all the things. I will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day, your week, your year. Starting to sound like the Friends theme song. I'll see you guys later. Bye.